All right, welcome everybody to the Good News Network. I'm Michael Reynolds. This is my good buddy Chris White. Um, we are happy that you're joining us. For those of you who are not familiar with the Good News Network, just a little intro to let you know what we're doing and why we're doing it. Over time, Chris and I have had lots of conversations. We've known each other for 6 or so years. We were talking one day about how there's lots of information, lots of sources out there for all sorts of things that aren't good news. And we felt like there wasn't enough focus on the good things that are happening. We both were sharing about, all the good things that are happening in our life and around our lives. And we thought, it'd be great to have a place to put a highlight on those and then share good things that
Yes,
other folks are doing in the community. So that's our intention. That's why we're here, and we're grateful that you're joining us. So, how's it going today, Chris?
absolutely wonderful. I
Yeah,
am so excited about hearing this story and so thankful for this day. Thankful for the rain. We had a little rain
yeah,
today. It was
that's right.
beautiful. So,
Yeah, it
yeah.
smells so
Thank you,
good.
brother. hmm
Yeah. Um, so we like to start off the show with kind of talking about a highlight of the week. So, what was your highlight this week, Chris?
Well, I'll tell you, brother, I have I've been reading in the Bible in Second Timothy, and Paul's talking about, just loving our and lifting up our leaders and volunteers. And boy, I had just a special experience with that this week as my grandson. And if you happen to follow this podcast, this show, every now and then, I'm going to bring up my grandson.
Yeah,
It's gonna happen.
it's
And
I'm looking for the record. That was what, 33 seconds? We got the grandson in.
something
So,
like
yeah.
that, yes. But he's been going to church with us, and he hasn't been in the nursery. But last Sunday, he wanted to go in there, and I just want to tell you, just this wonderful, beautiful woman who was running the nursery and just welcomed him in and just loved on him and just accepted him as a total stranger as part of her family, made him feel so comfortable and so safe. And I just want to lift up and just appreciate, all our leaders and volunteers in our local churches and houses of worship that just love, love, love. And I experienced that to see that this last Sunday. So thank you. It was a beautiful thing. Appreciate you asking, Michael.
That's awesome. And he had a good time?
Oh my gosh. Well, after the church service, his mom and grandma went over there to pick him up, and he didn't want to leave. He was just kind of like, "Hey, I've got
It's like,
friends here.
what are you guys doing here? Who
I've got
invited you?
games. I've got this wonderful people that are taking care of me. I'm good.
Hmm.
So anyway, it was beautiful. Yeah, it was beautiful.
That's awesome.
Mm,
Um, so I'll share my highlight. I actually had a
please.
few really good things happen over the weekend, but the one I want to focus on Sunday, I have a friend who's been an artist for almost 70 years. She went to
Mm,
the Art Institute 50 years, at San Francisco Art Institute 50 years ago,
wow.
and is a painter. And one of her friends wanted to showcase some of her work. She's had different shows, but this one he wanted to really kind of, she's getting to the point where you don't know how many shows she's got left, and so
Mm-hmm.
he really curated this beautiful show, and it was called the Evolution of Creation, and the way he
Mm,
did it, like the paintings, and they had the book that had information about the paintings, and they weren't all painted in the order that he curated them, but the
mm-hmm.
way he did it was like she at one point in her career she was really into into cosmology and like the formation of the planets and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of like this sort of dark numinous stuff with the planets forming and all that, and then she
Sure.
had a series of things over time that um were plants and different things. And so it was like, and then it followed it around to where like more formation of landscapes, and then ended with she had gone through a real life transformation in her 30s and had done this series of work that were kind of outlines of her body with some different patterns and shapes and size. So it started with, this just sort of unformed void and went around
Mm-hmm.
with the different works and ended with the human form. So it was
Mm.
beautiful, and just seeing her there and how excited she was. And there, I mean, I was there the second day, and when I got there pretty early when it was first opening, and there was like three or four folks. And when I left, there was like 30 people, and it was just a huge
Wow.
bustling thing, and people from all different parts of her life that have known her in different ways and just coming to appreciate
Mm-hmm.
her stuff. So it was super
Mm-hmm.
cool. And I'm not a big art person, but I'm learning to appreciate it as I spend more time
Mm-hmm.
with it, and just,
Sure.
yeah, just seeing how important it is to her. And so, yeah, it was a
Hmm.
beautiful event. So that was my highlight.
And so beautiful that, a lifetime, right? I mean, she's been doing art for this time, and now it's reached this kind of wonderful, pinnacle, if you will, or exposure to people and understanding creation. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was
Hmm.
cool. All right, well, um, without further ado, we want to introduce you all to our friend Alethea Larson, who is with the living room. So Alethea will join us here. Hey, welcome.
Hey.
Hi.
Great to see you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really
No,
Oh,
excited.
yeah, it's a pleasure. So, thanks for being here. And so you work at the living room. Tell us about your program.
Oh, what a great opportunity. So, the living room. Oh, it's over 30 years old and I'm 50. And this is the best job I've ever had in my life.
hmm.
And it is like, when you get the opportunity to do something you're so passionate about that it doesn't feel like work. I mean, it does feel
Hmm.
like work,
Some
but it
days,
doesn't
right?
it
Yeah.
doesn't feel like a job, you
Right.
know.
Mhm.
Right.
And I think my daughter said this once, maybe, is that I feel like I'm in life, is that I'm
Mm.
really participating in not
Uh-huh.
just being alive, but in meeting the potential of myself, maybe. And
Mhm.
I started out in Montessori school when I was really young, and I feel like this full circle has finally happened
Mhm.
here. And the reason why is because it's not just being in life, it's being really a part of your community and seeing where different pieces intersect. So with the living room, it was given a name in 1993, and the primary purpose was to provide a safe space for women and children
Mhm.
who were experiencing homelessness and needed a safe space to go
Hmm.
into during the daytime. And it was at the Church of Incarnation on
Mhm.
Mendocino Avenue here in Santa Rosa.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And from 93 until 2016, women and children would come there, and they would connect with people in the community, with volunteers, with church members. I was at a presentation a couple weeks ago, and I asked the audience, they were at Spring Lake Village, and I said, how many of you here used to bring food down to the church? And a good
Mhm.
number of them raised their
Oh,
hands. And
wow.
that was,
Hmm.
25 years ago. One of our board members as a teenager used to bring food, to
Oh,
Wow.
the church.
wow.
So I
Wow.
look at the living room, and
Hmm.
and the core of the mission, which is serving women and children experiencing homelessness or are at risk of, the core of that is all about community, and
Yes.
really loving and caretaking our community, because loving and caretaking our community is loving and caretaking ourselves and our family and
Hmm.
our future and our world. And
Hmm.
how lucky am I
Hmm.
to get to be a part of that. And
Mhm.
so the
Wow.
living room expanded from that primary purpose of just being the safe place to walk inside and to be inside, to a little bit more, to really listening to what women and children were needing, which is
Mhm.
ultimately safety, improved
Hmm.
health, and overall housing.
Hmm.
And so to understand what brought them to that place took years and years. And we
Mhm.
continue to understand the evolution kind of that need. But in 2016, the need was outgrew the room at the church, basically.
Hmm.
And
Mm,
so I'm here at the Cleveland campus that was opened in 2016, where 80 women, children, and their pets would come every
Wow.
day, Monday through Friday. And from 2016 until March of 2020, at the onset of COVID, that's where this happened. They would come for food, laundry, showers,
mm,
safety, and connection with resources for the first time provided by other agencies in addition to service providers at the living room.
mm,
And so it was amazing work and an amazing time for women. And then at the onset of COVID, overnight, the doors had to shut because we
Mm.
couldn't have a congregate space for folks.
mhm,
So what happened was a lot of service through the phone, sometimes individuals coming to the gate for needs, and then serving
mhm,
food to the community at large out of our windows of our kitchen.
Oh, wow.
And that lasted for a period of time. And then we morphed it into delivery of food and then providing food to our partners who would then deliver to their communities as well.
mm.
And then in March of 22, we opened our drop-in center.
Mm.
And during that time between 20 and 22, we expanded a housing program. And
Wow.
so our drop-in centers for women, children, and their pets. And our food services have grown to 60,000 meals a year. And our housing program now holds 50 women, children, and their pets at a time. And so we've got our
Wow.
services, our housing, and our food, and collaboration with about 80 partners that work in and out of our center.
Hmm.
And we coordinate the care of our participants and residents with these local community partners. Not to mention the
Mm,
187 volunteers and $240,000 that we've saved this year alone on labor costs. So
Wow.
we are incredibly lucky, and I think we're in the exact right place that we need to be at this time and place, in our world, in our community.
mm.
Absolutely. Holy cow. That is
Wow.
amazing.
That is amazing. Wow.
So,
It's beautiful. Mm,
so I mean, the amount of services sound phenomenal, and I love hearing the agility that you incorporated in during COVID. That well, we'll just pass food out the window, right? And we'll deliver it to
mhm,
folks who can deliver it to folks, and just
Yeah.
finding a way to keep going. What I'm curious, what is your why? Why did you get involved in this work? Why do you do this work?
mm,
Because I clearly it's only because of passion that those sorts of things happen. It's because it could have been like, well, everything's shut down, let's shut down. But clearly there's a why that drives you. So what is your why, Alethea?
mm,
I think that my personal why, it's funny. It's like the full circle piece. I started out Montessori school, and going to Montessori also incorporated the importance of participating in your community,
mhm,
and this notion almost of being a vessel of community work, community service, community connection.
Mhm.
And my why is maybe a few fold, but twofold. One is serving the child that I was at the time that needed services
mm,
and needed support. And I can serve her through this work now. And so it's very healing. And the second reason is so simple, and maybe it isn't, but I think it's important to answer to a call that is given to you. And for
mm,
me, being a vessel of the mission of the living room feels like that is why I am here on this earth.
Mhm.
And it feels like, I'm in the right place and the right time. And to serve in our organization in any capacity, I think you really have to be in love with our mission, our community, with the women and children that we're serving as well. And I am so in love.
Mhm.
And in love with our volunteers as well, our staff. Um, and it feels like not a lift, and it's not hard in that way. Like getting up in the morning isn't like, oh, I've got to go and do this. I don't feel that way. Don't get me wrong. It is challenging,
mm,
Yeah, can
but
imagine.
it's such a privilege to be in this place and time. And I think that most of our staff, if not all, share the same sentiment: is that it's an honor to be able to serve here
Mhm.
That's really the piece. And I think, you know, for a lot of us that love our community, and I meet so many people every week in general that just want to be of service. They want to
Hmm.
help. They want to connect with something, but they're unsure of how
Yeah.
or who to talk to, you know, what direction to
Mm.
go. And man, it feels so good to continue to encounter people that just want to help and be a part of something,
Mhm.
and to be able to demonstrate love and good work and help and support.
Hmm. That is
Wow.
beautiful. Um,
That's wow.
it- and I love you talking about how many folks are looking for a way to connect and how to serve. And that's part of our intention with this podcast is to let people
Hmm.
know of the ways that they can do that,
That's
right?
right.
So what are some of the opportunities that are available at the living room for somebody that wants to serve?
Well, I'll give you a couple examples. We have our traditional volunteer opportunity routes, which would be, for example, in our kitchen. Monday through Friday, we have volunteers that come and help prepare meals
Hmm.
with our kitchen staff who are amazing, and some of our residents and participants who also serve in the kitchen. Something my husband said recently, he started volunteering here 3 days a week,
Hmm.
and he's kind of wherever somebody needs him. But he said he loves being in the kitchen because he's also learning culinary skills. We have
Hmm.
Hmm.
three very experienced culinarians in our kitchen, and we have volunteers that come in and they're learning how to segment chicken properly, how to
Uh,
marinate properly, different kinds of dices and
Oh,
cutting
wow.
techniques. So there's this other benefit. You're helping, but you're also constantly learning as well, which I love.
That's amazing.
Then we have a donation program in our on our campus as well. We provide basic, comfortable clothing and shoes for women and children at our drop-in center.
Mm.
And so our community really shows up. We're so
hmm.
lucky. I mean, God, we are so fortunate to have so many people in the community that care enough to bring very well cared for and clean clothing and shoes and undergarments and hygiene products
Hmm.
to our Cleveland campus. And we have a whole team of volunteers that sort all of these donations. We had a volunteer recently purchase a shed for us to organize and store our donations. Yeah. And we're talking
Wow.
about starting a thrift store pretty soon. And so we're working on some feasibility pieces.
Hmm.
And with that, what that means is for our donation sorters, they want to come in and they're really organized, and sometimes they don't necessarily want to mix it up with people, but they want to be of service in this very specific way. Our donation
Sure.
is a great way to do that. We have others that are volunteering in our garden. We grow, we've got 12 hydroponic grow towers that need maintenance and care, and we have a handful of volunteers that help with that as well. If you're into gardening, we have a lot of opportunities. We also have raised beds. We grow a good bit of food here. And then we also have folks that are retired professionals or that have time on their lunch breaks, even that
Hmm.
have worked in accounting or nonprofit, who are hyper organized, who are great with Excel, that love event planning because we're constantly in the community tabling at events or hosting events for donors and interested community members. And so we have volunteers that help us plan that as well. And then we have an incredible opportunity at our drop-in center called the Living Room Life Center. And this is where volunteers work directly with our participants, with the women and children that come there for services. Some of them, like we've got a couple of volunteers from WaFed Bank who are located here in Santa Rosa, and they're
Hmm.
teaching financial literacy at our center, which is an incredible opportunity
Wow.
for our ladies to really get some empowerment and education. But
Hmm.
also the providers of this literacy program, in conjunction with another professional volunteer that we have, they said, well, God, we came in thinking, you know, we've got this program and we can see how it's going to work. And they said a few months in, they were learning things they didn't even conceive of,
Hmm.
Hmm.
which was really the experience of the women that we're serving, what their experience really is with money and their limited income and how they manage that. And then they said something so interesting, which is kind of this spiritual relationship with
Mm,
finances, with money, how
Hmm.
they were raised and socialized to have a relationship with money. And so often what they do is they just discuss kind of the spiritual piece of that
mm,
in their relationships with each other, with money, with their children, with their partners if they have them. And so the providers of this, it's really informed how they've changed kind of the structure of a class like that. We have other volunteers that work in our auxiliary kitchen at our drop-in center, and that is preparing food for women that come in. Our center's open 9 to 3 Monday through Friday, and we have ready to heat food
mm.
available during that time. We also have to go bags for women
Wow.
living in their cars or on the street, so that our goal is no belly empty. They need food, they come to the center and get it, and they
Mm-hmm.
can leave with food as well.
Hmm.
And so we have volunteers that might deliver meals if we need that, but at the center they're also providing them directly and really spending time with the ladies that come to the center. We've got support groups and other classes as well. So we have a volunteer coordinator who meets with folks that have an interest, and that way we can kind of drill down on a really great pairing with someone's comfort, their skills and ability, their desire,
Hmm.
and what we have available in terms of opportunity.
Wow.
So it's a lot. It's a lot of different. It's a
That's
lot of different
you.
ways to
Wow.
serve.
A lot is an understatement. Yeah, Chris, I'm going to give you a chance
Wow.
to jump in. I've got more questions. There's so much to touch
No,
on here, but I want to see if
yeah.
what you have for Alethea.
Well, Alethea, my heart is overflowing
Hmm.
with just gratitude and joy and how you're loving your neighbor, and I know that Jesus was asked, "What's the most important thing?" And he said, "Love God with all your heart and love your neighbor." And and that's what you and your folks are doing, and it's just so beautiful. And I think the other thing is, if I can just make this quick comment, is sometimes I get asked in this work, "Oh, that must be really great for the person you're serving." And I say, "Yes, and it's great for the person who's doing the serving." And you mentioned that, like, people with different gifts come together, whether it's the kitchen or whatever, and they come together and they go, "Wow, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm here. I don't need to be the face in the front. I don't. But I'm a piece of this that is helping our community, and I just think it's so beautiful." Um, I'm curious, what is something that always brings a smile to your face, or maybe tears to your eyes when you're working in this program?
Oh, I think that one of them is the unexpected that happens.
Mm,
And I'll give you an example. I love what you just said, because oftentimes I witness this with our participants, is that there's not a time where you just come in and need or are receiving services or help. There's
mm,
always opportunity to give and receive at the same time. And I think that's more of the natural state of our existence,
right.
is that we are one and the same. We are all the same, and we're at
Mhm.
different stages of our life sometimes. But the way that I can kind of illuminate this is we have an emergency trailer for someone who might be looking at staying on the street. We want to be able to provide space for them to be inside. And it's
Hmm.
just one trailer. We
Hmm.
hope to build more, but we are rather small. And
Sure.
so we had a mom that was moving out of the trailer into our housing program, and a new mom that was moving in. And the trailer's rather new. We'd only had a couple of residents up to that point. And trailers are not the easiest to operate.
Hmm.
And so the mom who was moving out came by and introduced herself to the new mom
Mm,
and said, "You know what? Let me give you my number. And if you have any questions about how to operate this, I'm
mm.
so happy to come and show you." And they're
Hmm.
still friends. And what I'd recognized or
Wow.
realized before that was, when the previous mom had moved into the trailer, there was a woman living in the house next door, and this mom was expecting a baby. and
Wow.
and so our other resident mom said, hey, if you go into labor, I'll take you. And this is all this sharing and giving and receiving at the same time that was outside of like our normal program
Mm-hmm.
structure. It was just kindness and empathy and
Yeah.
love. And I think that that is our natural state,
Amen.
as people, definitely as mothers. And
Mm.
so when these mothers share with one another and trust one another and offer something that we have not designed, required, requested,
Yeah.
that provides so much hope and a reminder that our natural state is good. Our natural state is loving
Hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
helping.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when we go another direction, it might be some fear, but a lot of our women here that
Mm.
live in our programs or utilize our services, they have survived something or many things, and they still love and they
Yep.
still trust and they still hope. And that tells me that we are in the right place, and we're building this community um, with folks that share, not, it's not even about values. I think it's our natural human nature, really
Mm-hmm.
truly to be this way. And when you have children that are witnessing their mothers giving and receiving,
Mm.
they're also emulating
Yes.
that behavior
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
And it just doesn't get better. And the other one is, we have young
Hmm.
people that live in our programs too, and a lot of them have come from the foster system or
Hmm.
long periods of time in shelter, and
Mm-hmm.
they are so generous and open in sharing their dreams and their hopes and their fears and the reality and their truth. And they're so powerful. They're so
Mm-hmm.
powerful. And so, it does not ever feel here like there's service providers and there's service receivers. It's really a flow and an exchange
That's
of
right.
love and goodness and help and wisdom. And
Mm-hmm.
that makes me feel so happy and lucky
Mm.
and happy to go to work every day, because it's not necessarily work, it's an extension of or part of my community that I belong in.
Right.
Pretty
That's right.
cool. Oh, and my husband
Yep.
and daughter both volunteer here now without me like begging or asking. It's like such a bonus.
That's so awesome. That's so great. Oh, thank you. I'm so appreciative and so blessed to hear this story and
Hmm.
this love, right?
Hmm.
Unconditional love.
Yes.
Random, love that says we want to love you and we expect nothing in return.
Yes.
We just want to meet you where you're at and lift you up a little bit,
Hmm.
and tell you there's hope in this world.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Hmm.
wow.
Exactly
Thank
right.
you.
That's
Michael?
beautiful. Yeah. So as I'm listening to you, Chris and I have both been involved with a lot of different organizations doing great work, but there's a level of thriving that I hear that's happening at the living room that I
Mm-hmm.
don't experience in most places. Where do you think that comes from? Why is that?
Oh, this is such fortuitous timing. This is exactly why. And it's because I was talking with uh, a coworker today about what kind of sets us apart.
Hmm.
And actually, two things happened. One of them is we are not being required, but working on an additional data point and how we gather data.
Hmm.
And our requirement at the living room is that anything we do has to be encompassed with love and respect
Mm.
for everyone around us, but most importantly for the women that we're serving. And so if
Hmm.
we do not have their buy-in, permission, desire to embark on that, then we cannot do it. And the second piece is, when I was talking with this coworker, I said, the living room, unlike any other place, absolutely makes time for love and personal connection and recognition
Mm-hmm.
of what we are all holding every day. Because
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes, when we talk about the women we're serving too, we all carry things in our lives, challenges and grief and frustration, struggles, hope.
Mhm.
and the women that we're serving carry the same things we do
Yep.
while experiencing domestic violence, while experiencing homelessness. And that is an incredible concept to understand, but then also to really honor. And what that means is this work takes time,
Mm-hmm.
and time means really connecting with the person in front of you on a very personal level, really giving that time for someone to express themselves or just to sit with in a moment.
Mhm.
And in a world where we are rushing and rushing and rushing, and I'm definitely a rusher for
Mm-hmm.
sure,
Mm-hmm.
recognizing that the most powerful component here is to give of your time and attention and to be present with someone so that they know that out of all of the things going on, they are most important right now in this time and place.
Mhm.
And that is something I love about the living room, because we build it into everything that we do, is making sure that the people that we're serving and the people we're serving with feel recognized, honored, loved, and really seen. And so when we are talking about productivity, when we're talking about numbers that we have to reach for grants or forecasts,
Mhm.
if that love piece, if that time piece is not incorporated, then we are
Mm-hmm.
not getting the best quality of service that we can possibly provide. And
Right.
so real love of the person in front of us and the
Right.
time that it takes to provide that love,
Yep.
that's the most important. And that's something I feel
Amen.
so lucky to be a part of.
Mhm.
Amen. I mean, it starts with relationship first
Mm-hmm.
and then resource provision,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you don't start with relationship, the other stuff doesn't really matter so much. You
You're
know,
totally right.
it becomes a temporary band-aid,
Yeah.
maybe for some.
Yeah.
But for when you establish relationship and you say, I'm here to love and support you, let's just get that on the table. I'm not here to
Mhm.
judge you. I'm
Yeah.
not here to, give you advice about how to make your life better. Let's just
Mhm.
have a relationship and a discussion, and then let's move forward and be your best self and find this hope and love that truly exists in our community, even though people sometimes say, "Oh, where's the help? Where's the love? Where's the
Mhm.
sacrifice?" Well,
Yep.
thank you for sharing. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Mhm. So beautiful. And again, I think, so many things we could touch on. I'm interested because I know you just serve women, but I also heard that you have volunteers who are men. And so how do you manage that? How does that work with some of the histories that some of the ladies that you're serving come in with?
Such a great question. 85% or a little more of the women that we're serving have survived domestic violence,
Hmm.
trafficking, sexual assault, uh, mental health, substance use, food
Mm.
insecurity. And so I think it's very important. And Michael, actually, you and I talked about this, I think, years ago,
Yeah.
is that it's very important to model healthy male relationships, healthy communication with men, and
Hmm.
to rebuild some of that notion of, of trust and what that looks like for
Yeah.
someone. And so for volunteer opportunities, there's actually two places. One of them actually is service provision. We have male service providers that come to the center regularly, and they are from partner agencies, and they absolutely exercise that healthy communication, healthy
Mm.
demonstration of relationship. And then we do have male volunteers, not necessarily at our center but in our kitchen
Hmm.
and on our grounds. We have this really incredible volunteer from New Vintage Church
Hmm.
who is here every Monday and Tuesday doing work in our houses and around our houses. And
Mm.
actually is such an incredible communicator and interacts so well with the
Wow.
folks that live here at the campus. And
Mm.
then we have male staff also in our kitchen, which is so wonderful. And they are just the most wonderful, amazing men And they serve our participants, our residents, our female volunteers that are in the kitchen, our
Hmm.
youth as well. I think we have a pretty healthy representation of that healthy male communication, interaction, boundaries, all of that available at our 1207 campus and occasionally at our center with the service providers. And
Hmm.
so there are opportunities for men and women here at our at the living room in general. We actually just had this wonderful volunteer who painted one of our houses.
Oh,
He
wow.
procured the hand painted the house, which was incredible.
Mm.
And it's a house that has a lot of mothers with small children,
Mm.
and it was just what a sight to behold because he was so
Mhm.
respectful and they felt totally safe, and it worked out and it saved us so much money. Oh my gosh,
Hmm.
incredible. So we are also not super black and white. We're very case by case because we want to
Mhm.
weigh something out. Not every situation is the same.
Right.
There's so many different variables. And so, we really want to consider that if someone comes with an interest in providing some kind of help. Oh, I'll give you an example. We actually had a local artist a little while back who is male artist who did what we call a pop-up at our center, and it was art. It was art therapy. And so what
Mhm.
he did it with another one of our female staff members, and it was like a 2 canopy pop-up outside where women and their children could come and make art with him during that
Oh,
time. And
wow.
it
Wow.
was incredible because
How
what came
cool.
out of it is beautiful art for them, and it's so cathartic and they're able to
Yeah.
express a lot that way. But he really learned a lot too in just having conversations, which I think is so important, in being trusted to
Exactly.
connect with people, and we want to provide a safe space for that connectivity.
Hmm.
And so we have mechanisms in place to make sure that we're providing the safest environment possible.
Hmm.
But we have some really lovely community members that want to they want to connect, they want to serve, and it's up to us to find where that fit is.
Yep. Yep.
Wow, that's
Wow.
amazing. So, yeah, I think
Wow.
that's so great to find ways to bring in healthy male role models to model that behavior and to have opportunities to have those interactions because I
Yeah.
mean that's sometimes hard to find, right?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Chris, do you have anything else you?
Um, no, I think wow. Like I said, my heart is overflowing with gratitude and joy. And I'm curious, you were talking about expansion a little bit and maybe some opportunities there. Um, any other good news you want to share with us in terms of kind of maybe your hopes and dreams of how this service and ministry maybe expands to people. We certainly know there's a need in our community to love these women and children. So I'll I'll just leave you with that question.
Sure. We were talking about this very recently. We worked on a strategic plan for the living room, just kind of like our plans over the next few years in terms of our growth and what we want to concentrate on. And I thought, gosh, beyond that, I believe there's going to be a time where we have a healthier community,
Mm-hmm.
where there might be a little less need. We have to
Mm,
get through what we've got going on now,
Mm-hmm.
mhm,
but might we be able to always have a place to serve folks that need, to get off the street, that need safety, um, from domestic violence or whatever barriers they're facing. We want to always be able to provide that to our community, but then
Mm-hmm.
we also want to continue to provide opportunities to, I wish I had a better term for this, but I say level up, but
mhm,
that's what our ladies do often, is that someone might be coming to us in need of shelter, and then they get into a housing program,
Right.
and then they're able to see their doctors and healthier, and kids are in school, and then she wants to go back to school to get a degree, to have a better income. And I think we want to expand on that through line as an organization because we are a
mhm,
women's organization. And why not invest in that continued development? Because what our overall goal is to make sure that we have a very healthy community that we
Right.
all share. And having that healthy community doesn't mean that we're there just in that time of urgent need, but
Mm-hmm.
we're also there to help plan the future and
Right.
to be available and connect with those resources for the future. Because we hire some of our participants that have gone through our programs. We've
Hmm.
hired the children that came here for services 15, 20 years ago, and now they're
Wow.
adults and they're ready to serve. Our volunteers, same thing. A lot of them have gone through our programs, and I'm no different. And so I think what I'd like to see us, and this is something that we talk about, is to develop spaces and opportunities for women to continue to have a safe place to commune, but also
Hmm.
to
Yes.
dream
Mm.
and to build this
Yes.
community in the way that they want to shape it as well. So that means advocacy on our part and really making sure that we are magnifying or I'm having a moment. What's the word when you want to make something bigger? It's not magnifying, amplifying. Oh,
Amplify.
Amplify.
Mm.
Yeah, good.
amplifying their voices and their dreams as well, and making
Yes.
sure that we can carve that path to get there.
Hmm.
Always with partners and other people in the community. But I think that that's the ultimate direction of the living room, because we want to be around forever, but not always at DEFCON 5. We want to make sure
Yeah.
that we have services available for folks that need them immediately,
Sure.
but
Sure.
also the long-term pieces. And one
Mm.
of those components actually, is income generation. Nonprofits are looking at a massive um, crossroads in
Mm.
that a lot of funding has been cut by the federal government, which has affected everyone at state, county, local levels.
Hmm.
But then I was thinking, the future of nonprofits have to be more about financial sustainability. And
Hmm.
that means if we have income generation on our own part, then we really are ensuring that we are going to be around. And some of that is in workforce development, but also and we're really seriously talking
Mm.
about opening a thrift store to be able to help
Right.
use that money to put back into our programs to support the people that we're serving.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Wow. Thank you. I don't have no other questions other than to tell our listeners and viewers. I had the opportunity and the blessing to go to your website this afternoon, look at it again. It's just beautiful. It's just so much information
Thank you.
and so hopeful. And so I just encourage our listeners or viewers to check your organization out. You guys are doing beautiful work, and I thank you for being a guest with us today.
Oh, it was
Hmm.
such a pleasure. I'm so
Mm,
happy to have had this time with you.
mm,
Yeah, I'm thinking, just one of the words that I heard multiple times, it's a buzzword for me because of the work that I do in behavioral health is connection, right? And how
mm-hmm.
years ago the Surgeon General wrote a paper about how isolation is the worst thing for a human being. And I think your focus on that and as Chris said, the relationship and the love and the respect at the heart of that and just finding ways to connect. And the other thing um, that I heard, I think about in some of the work that I've done, there's the idea of doing to, right? Like we're going to do this to you. This is what needs to happen, and we're going to make sure it does. Doing for, which is kind of enabling, versus doing with, and that's what I hear. It's like
That's right.
everybody's
That's right.
doing it together, and so it
That's
is
right.
it
Yeah,
is a community. It's not a one directional thing. It's a
absolutely.
vibrant, thriving, dynamic relationship and I think that's what I heard consistently throughout here. And I think that I see it written all
Mm-hmm.
over your face, Alethea. I mean, you're just
Yeah,
that vibrancy is
yeah.
just such,
Yeah. Yeah, for
it's
sure.
so evident. And I also, for sure the people involved are key to that. And you, as the executive director, clearly have led that well and are in that role that is supporting people in order to make those things happen. Because lots of organizations have values, but as a friend of mine says, programs are just words on a paper until people show up, right?
That's
And
right.
so
That's
Yes.
right.
you are showing up and your folks are showing up and making this happen. And it's just such a beautiful thing. And I echo
Mm.
Chris's gratitude for coming to share this with us. Thank you for the work you're doing day in and day out, and thank you for being you. I mean,
Yes.
you're just an
Yes.
incredible
Mm.
human being, and I'm so
Oh,
grateful
I
to know
appreciate
you.
it so much.
Mhm.
Wow. What a great Tuesday.
Mm.
Well, it is a pleasure. Thank you so much. We will make sure to put in the show notes, we'll make sure to put contact info in there for folks so they know how to get in connection with you to support and serve and refer for folks that are looking for ways to get involved.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. I really
Thank you.
appreciate it. It's a
It was
pleasure.
absolutely. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank
Thanks,
you. Thank you
Lethea.
Take
so
care.
much.
All right.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Well, that was semi nice to hear, huh? I mean, holy cow. Just
I could hardly keep my I could hardly keep quiet. It was just
just
so beautiful. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I just, I'm I'm shaming myself for being so long since I've spent time with Alethea because I mean, we're both she's obviously
Oh,
so busy and so engaged and I'm just so
hmm.
grateful to be reminded of her presence on the planet and I know and
Yeah,
I hear about
amen.
all the work that they're doing often from the folks that I work with who are engaged in providing services there and receiving services there and just showing up. I mean, there really is nothing else like it in our community. And I think that what
Wow.
we just saw and what we just heard is a perfect representation of the uniqueness of the living room and the beauty
Right.
and the glory and the love that is just being
That's right.
amplified out into the community. And
That's right.
yeah, how amazing! I'm
And
just
w-
so
and
grateful.
and we're seeing, the lives that they're loving and touching are now circling around, and now how can they serve, right? How can
Yeah,
they
exactly.
participate in this program? How can they love their neighbor?
Right,
How can they love their neighbor the way they were loved? And
right.
that's just so beautiful, right?
Yeah,
So, yeah.
and not out of expectation, just out of, I mean,
No,
it's like when your cup's so full, it's like the only thing you can do is give it away, right? And so it's
that's
clear
right.
that folks are
That's right.
experiencing that when they're there, that they're just like, oh, this is the source of life is to give my life away, right? And to serve others.
That's
And
right.
that's just so cool. Well, wow.
Amen.
Wow.
Wow.
Amazing. Um,
Whew.
well, I don't even want to switch gears on this, but I think we need to because we want to make sure to respect our listeners' time as well.
Yep.
Um, but I do want to know, so what are you looking forward to this week, Chris? What do you got coming up that's exciting, joyful, hopeful,
Hmm.
awe-inspiring?
Well, I tell you, I'm looking forward to our next show.
Mm,
I know we're going to have another conversation in a couple days, and I just am so encouraged, and again, my cup, to your point, my cup is overflows when I hear the love that's being demonstrated, unconditional love in our community. It's just, again, this was the whole purpose, right, brother? This is why we wanted to do this. We wanted to have conversation and hear stories of
mhm.
people who are loving their neighbors, and I look forward to our next conversation in a couple days.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. So for me, tomorrow I have the opportunity to go with a group of folks who we're going to go present at a regional gathering. Actually, I think it's a statewide gathering for an organization called CASRA. It's a California Association of Social Rehab Agencies, and we
Mm-hmm.
get to go present about some of the work that we've been focused on around creating environments and a culture of peace. And the theme of the gathering is called United and Humanity and Hope. So I think
Hmm.
that is just a beautiful example of what we just heard
Yep.
and what we're hoping to spread through this program. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
what a beautiful day, what a beautiful
I'm
conversation.
I'm so thankful. I'm
Yeah.
so thankful to be here today, to be with you, to be with the living room folks. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just wonderful.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for looking for the good, and we encourage you to just keep looking for that wherever you go. And if you don't find it, make some.
Amen.
All
All
right, we'll
right.
see you all next time.
All right.